Welcome to CBA News in Brief. My name is Wangui Ngugi. Somaliland's Vice President Abdirahman Abdullahi Ismail Saili'i today officially opened the two-day Somaliland Women Conference in the western town of Borama in Awdal region. The theme of Somaliland Women Conference is "An equitable and inclusive election for all is an integral part of the democratization process in Somaliland." The Ministry of Employment, Social Affairs and Family, together with Nagad Network and recently established Parliamentary Committee for the Advancement of Women and Gender Equality in Politics and Leadership, have organized this conference, which is focusing on critical challenges of women's political participation and representation in the decision-making process and leadership for inclusivity and equality for all. The civil societies and communities at large, including women, are participating in the event in Borama for promoting gender equality and sustainable development in politics and leadership for all, with a clear statement and declaration of Somaliland Women's Quota enactment and application. This conference will be followed by the Marginalized Groups Congress, which the Director General said will be held before the debate on the bill commences. The University of Hargeisa hosted a one-day conference organized by the Department of Macroeconomic and Statistics of the Somaliland Ministry of Finance Development. The primary objective of the conference was to bring together economists in the country from the academic institutions, the public and the private sectors to make macroeconomic analysis and address the domestic and international challenges of economic growth in Somaliland. Somaliland's Minister of Finance Development opened the conference and explicated a brief statistical data about the slowly growing economy of the country. The minister explained the key challenges of the Somaliland economy by stating the little budget of the government and explaining the high unemployment rate and the trade deficit, which is 30 times lower than the average. The minister indicated that the government needs to increase the budget in order to fulfill its duties. He emphasized that taxes are not fully and properly collected, and when taxes are fully collected, the government budget will increase enough to carry out its responsibilities and implement developmental projects that can create platforms and help in rapid economic growth. Other speakers from the academic institutions, the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance Development stated key factors negatively contributing to the slow growth of the economy. The devaluation of the domestic currency, inflation, unemployment, balance of trade and lack of market for the main Somaliland livestock were among the key issues addressed. Conflict, regional instability and climate change are some of the biggest drivers of hunger in the world today, according to the World Food Programme. In his address to mark the World Food Day, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that the number of chronically hungry people worldwide hit 821 million in 2018, up from 777 million 3 years earlier. He added that 10 out of the 13 largest hunger crises in the world are conflict-driven, and 60% of the people who are food insecure live in conflict zones. The United Nations chief noted that the countries that are most in danger of famine are Somalia, South Sudan and Yemen, as well as Nigeria's northeast region. The disruption of lives impedes the production of food, causing famine and hunger, and Guterres in his address also noted that hunger could also lead to more fighting in other instances. According to him, food security means there will be fewer community tensions, less violent extremism, and more mutual cooperation. While hungry people are not necessarily violent, it is clear that persistent hunger creates the kind of instability that leads to more conflict. In addition to fueling conflict, food insecurity is also seen as a big contributor to global migration of persons. Mr. Guterres said that for every 1% increase in hunger, there is a nearly 2% increase in migration. Somalia security agencies conducted operations to recover livestock collected by armed group Al-Shabab on Tuesday. According to officials, the operation, which took place in Reydab village near the agricultural town of Beder in Gedo region, recovered a flock of sheep and goats from the militants. The Al-Shabab group previously collected the livestock from local pastoralists in the name of Zakat. Zakat is a religious obligation for all Muslims who meet the necessary criteria of wealth. It is a mandatory charitable contribution, often considered to be a tax. According to the principles of the group, farmers and herders are required to pay Zakat once a year in the areas under their control. The livestock that the militant group seizes from farmers is then auctioned for a bid at a bargain price to businessmen who are linked to Al-Shabab. In some parts of the country, some farmers have taken arms against the group to reject what they describe as forceful extortion of their property. The Puntland state of Somalia has announced for the first time that it explored the number of the origin of ships illegally conquering beaches in areas controlled by the administration. Puntland Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources said the ships were known for illegal fishing and relocation of resources in Puntland's coast guard. Somalia has not established a system of trade licensing, inspection and quality control sufficient to allow local fishing farms to trade successfully with international fisheries companies. The Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources said that as many as 18 Iranian, Indian and Pakistani ships were illegally fishing off the coast of Puntland. The Puntland Ministry said that the culprits nabbed in the act are set to face prosecution. Investigations show other companies and foreign vessels without licenses from his ministry, including among those illegally fishing. The government of the semi-autonomous region of Puntland now aims to work with local fishing communities to establish fish processing plants to enable local fishermen to gain from exporting higher value dried fish. Puntland is also seeking investors from the business community, including money transfer firms. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta has officially opened Phase 2A of the standard gauge railway from Nairobi to Naivasha for passenger services. The 150 billion line passes through the 5 counties of Nairobi, Kajiado, Kiambu, Nakuru and Narok. The head of state was accompanied on the train to Suswa by dozens of senior government officials, among them cabinet secretaries. The line has 4 passenger stations, namely Ongata Rongai, Ngong, Mai Mahio and Suswa, and 1 interchange station at Nachu Station. Traders along the line have welcomed the launch and are optimistic that the project will open up business opportunities. The completion of the 120.49-kilometer Phase 2A project, whose construction began in 2017, had been delayed following a compensation tussle between the affected persons and the Kenya Railways. According to Kenya Railways and China Communications Construction Company, the project was set for completion in May, with commencement of commuter services expected by June 1st. Thank you for watching CBN News in Brief. Join Eunice Deco later tonight with more and detailed news.